This week's Beyond the Villa Season 2 episode dump was unhinged, and I'm going to say something controversial right out of the gate. I genuinely think this season has been more interesting than last season, drama-wise at least, because we finally get to see why Iris and TJ have been so upset at Pepe this whole time, and I am dying for your reactions in the comments, because I genuinely don't know which side I land on yet. The receipts came out, the screenshots came out, and one piece of evidence got blocked by, I kid you not, a dead phone battery at the worst possible moment. I am not joking. But even besides that bombshell, we have a man proudly announcing his hoe credentials on national television like he's reading off a LinkedIn update. The internet has flipped the script on who the villain actually is. The people we were told to root for, getting dragged. The person we were told to side-eye has an entire fan camp defending him. By the end of this video, you'll question who you've been rooting for this whole season, because the public verdict is not what the show wants you to feel. There's also a moment later involving an overheard hot tub conversation that I cannot stop thinking about. Before we dive into this absolute chaos, hit that subscribe button if you love messy drama breakdowns, smash the like button and the new hype button. It genuinely helps us reach more tea lovers like you. And you'll want to be subscribed for what's coming, because we are nowhere near done with this season. So grab your beverage of choice, get comfortable, because we are spilling the tea, one drop at a time. Let's start with what the internet has been losing its collective mind over all week, because the online reaction to last week's Mean Girls energy, brutal. Apparently, the audience does not appreciate watching a grown woman get visibly excluded on camera while everyone pretends nothing is happening. Now, if you missed it, Bella has been the unofficial designated outsider of the friend group, and the receipts are starting to pile up in a way that's getting hard to ignore. The TikTok comment sections are war zones right now. People are pointing out, very loudly I might add, that Bella is being iced out by the so-called core group, Hannah, Iris, Amaya. The Trinity, supposedly. And the takes coming out of this discourse are, how do I put this delicately? Spicy. One TikTok creator straight up posted that Bella is being excluded because she's quote-unquote not as popular as the others. Oof, the internet does not miss. But here's where it gets layered, because the show then doubles down on this exact dynamic in episode 5. We're watching Hannah throw her sexy holiday party, Bella is in attendance, and the energy is, let's just say, frosty. And Bella is not the only one who seems to have been feeling this way. In these new episodes, Gracyn calls in on Bella and Coco while they're having a paint night date. And Gracyn reveals, with the kind of tired grace that only comes from being repeatedly disappointed, that when she was trying to talk to Hannah and Iris about her situation with Austin at the Christmas party, their attention just floated away, drifted off, like leaves in the wind. I'm sorry, but if I'm pouring my heart out to my supposed close friends about a romantic situation and they start glazing over while I'm still mid-sentence, that's a betrayal in slow motion. But the moment that really sealed the public's verdict happens when Iris, Amaya, Clark, and Jeremiah are sitting around having their little group hang. And Iris brings up, completely unprompted, that Bella keeps trying to mediate broken relationships in the group. To which Amaya responds, and I quote the energy here, because the words speak for themselves. Why does she keep trying to be the therapist of this season? Sorry, what? The girl is trying to keep the peace and you're roasting her for it? That's diabolical work.
Bella is not a pick-me. And to be honest, I'm getting tired of this whole girl's girl narrative, especially on these reality TV shows. So you're telling me that if my friend is wrong, I can't say anything about it, call her out on it, nothing, simply because we have the same anatomy? No, I don't think so. I don't play like that. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I don't even think that Bella was trying to say that she was wrong. I think she was just trying to articulate what Charlie couldn't at that dinner. If nothing else, to me, it seems like she's a mediator. She wants everyone to get along, everyone to be friends, because they're like this little family since they all endured the same thing on that island last summer. Also, she has a boyfriend, so I don't think she's just trying to get the attention from the guys. Like, obviously, if she feels more comfortable with the guys, there's a reason why, and I think I know what that reason is, because the more I watch this season, the more I start to realize how much Iris and Hannah are mean girls. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder about Amaya now too. And specifically on the Love Island subreddit, there's so many people saying Bella's in the wrong, she's a pick-me. I don't see any of that, and I don't believe it. The way Hannah was speaking to Charlie was diabolical, and the way she said that, oh, you know, I feel bad that his grandparents died, but it's not an excuse to be a human. How is he being a shit human? He spoke about you on a podcast because you were his entire experience. He was only there for 11 days. What would you like him to talk about? And as far as I could tell, he wasn't saying anything really negative. Anyway, I'm proud of Bella for how she has handled herself so far, and you know what? There's not going to be any Bella slander over here, okay?
And then Amaya goes further and admits she doesn't want to be friends with someone who's close with her ex. The ex, of course, being Bryan.
Make it make sense.
So basically, Bella's crime is being friends with the wrong person. That's it. That's the offense. Tell me something specific in the comments. Was there a single moment where Hannah, Iris, or Maya actually made a fair point about Bella? Or has the entire dynamic been one-sided? Because I've been replaying these scenes and I genuinely cannot find one.
Okay, we need to talk about Austin.
Because this man has done something I genuinely have not seen on reality television before, and I need you to sit with me through it. Austin Wood, supposedly, looked into the camera and admitted, with the same energy you'd announce you're switching to oat milk, that he is a hoe. Just out there, out loud, with his whole chest. And the wildest part? He doesn't think it's a problem. He thinks we are the weird ones for finding this concerning. We are gaslighting Austin into feeling judged for his transparent hoe-ness, apparently. The audacity of this man.
But here's the thing.
A self-proclaimed hoe spree is, in theory, a single man's right to enjoy. The issue arises when said hoe spree starts overlapping with multiple women who don't know about each other. Especially when one of those women is the close friend of someone in your immediate social circle. Which brings us to brunch. So Gracyn goes to brunch with Bella, Andreina, and Coco. And Gracyn starts venting about Austin, because Austin has been confusing her. Hot and cold, full of mixed signals. The classic situationship spiral. And Bella, who has been listening, stops her. Wait, hold on, pause. Because Bella happens to be very close friends with a girl named Rave. And Rave recently confided in Bella that Rave and Austin are essentially together. Same Austin, same man, different woman pouring her heart out about him in a different room. And Bella, doing what a real one does, gives Gracyn the heads up. She tells Gracyn straight up, Austin has a girlfriend. The energy at this brunch table immediately shifts. Because Gracyn now has to sit with the fact that the man she's been emotionally invested in might already be claimed by someone she knows of through her own friend group. The emotional damage of getting that information over mimosas, I would have walked into the ocean. She tells Gracyn that Rave, made it crystal clear to Bella that he and Austin Wood had been exclusive at some point. Now you can see Gracyn's face do a little micro adjustment because she had absolutely no idea. Because Gracyn has been having something going on with Austin this entire time. They are physical by her own description. She says, and I'm not making this up, that he knew her front to back. So Gracyn, very reasonably, decides she needs to talk to Austin. She wants the truth. She specifically says, going into the meeting, that Austin tries really hard not to hurt her, which means he tends to tell her what she wants to hear instead of the actual truth. So this time, she needs him to stand on business. They sit down for coffee. Gracyn lays it out. She says every conversation they've had has been high emotion and high pressure. And the reason this is so hard for her is because she has a real connection with him. Then she drops the brunch bomb. She tells Austin, Bella said you have a girlfriend, and that was news to me. Austin's response? He says, news to me as well. News to you as well? Sir, you are the man in question. How is your own dating life news to you? You are the only person on planet Earth who would have first-hand information here, and you're claiming to be just as confused as the rest of us? Austin says Bella is completely off. He says Bella only knows what Rave tells her, and he can't control what Rave tells Bella. Which, technically true, but also a really convenient way to dodge the actual question, which is, are you or are you not seeing Rave? Which he never directly answers, by the way. He just keeps reminding everyone that he's on his hoe spree, which he's apparently said multiple times before. So really, this is Gracyn's fault for not paying close enough attention to his press releases. Then comes the boyfriend math. Austin claims Gracyn would know if he was in a relationship because they talk so often. She talks to his sisters, she talks to his mom. There's no possible way she wouldn't know. To which Gracyn very correctly points out, that's not a romantic level of knowing. That's a familial one. Going to dinner with someone, meeting their family, being affectionate with them. That all reads as romantic when you're the one experiencing it. Austin's counter? He goes to dinner with his friend Charlie, too. He goes to dinner with Charlie. Sir, do you also touch Charlie the way you've touched Gracyn? Because if not, the comparison is not comparing.
But the part that genuinely got me, they both start crying. Both of them.
Austin is crying, Gracyn is crying. He says he genuinely loves her. He says it hurts him to see her cry. She says she'll be there for him no matter what, regardless. But before we get too far into dragging Austin, I have to pause and acknowledge something important, because the context behind these scenes hits very differently now. After Beyond the Villa wrapped, Austin Shepard publicly revealed that he relapsed on opioids during filming. He went on TMZ's Previously On podcast and said, in his own words, that he is a manipulative, functional addict, and that nobody on set knew what was actually going on with him.
I know how this road goes, you know. I've had plenty of friends that are not here today that have, you know, sadly passed from it, and it's either, you know, death or a long life of misery. And so yeah, that was like my moment of clarity finally. And then at first I was gonna try and do things myself, but when you're in that mode, you really can't do things yourself, especially once you get past a certain point. It's impossible. It's like it is legitimately impossible. So then there was one night and I was sitting there and I was just going crazy. I hadn't slept in 4 nights. Like I was very sick. Like just literally like puke. It was just horrible. I couldn't sit still. And then I was just like, I need to go somewhere I need to go somewhere like medically. Mm-hmm. And then so I was researching, and then I just went on Google and I was like, medical detox near me. This is me day 11 now out of it. Here was me my first day. This is what I looked like my first day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
night and
literally.
day, Austin.
Like night and day difference. Like I could my first night there, I had a seizure and everything. They had to take me to the ER. And yeah, and then after that, they took real good care of me. This place called the Haven Detox. They really took care of me there. And after I got out yesterday, so yesterday was 10 days, and then now you guys are getting me on day 11.
Congrats.
And I'm back with my dad.
Did anyone in production or your castmates? Did anyone know?
No one knew. Honestly, that's my problem too. I'm a pretty manipulative, functional addict until it becomes, so unmanageable, like how it got. But I can bullshit for a while, and that's the hard part. And that's the ex-salesman in me, the ex-pool boy in me, trying to just smile, wave, pretend everything's okay. But but then Charlie, started reaching out towards the last month, and he's like, "Bro, what's going on, man?" Yeah, I just got pretty real with him. I was just telling him, pretty much everything. And yeah, he's been giving me some love, wishing me love. Same with TJ, Iris. They've been sending me some love too, so it's been nice. And yeah, it's and then my family, of course. Man, I have such a great support system.
He said he tried to avoid filming as much as possible, and that the salesman in him just smiled and waved and pretended everything was okay. His words, not mine. And once you know that, you cannot watch the coffee scene the same way. The crying, the contradictions, the not being able to commit but also not letting go, the boyfriend math that doesn't math. A lot of what we're watching is a man falling apart in real time on national television, and we just didn't know it yet. The cast didn't know, production didn't know, Gracyn didn't know. He was hiding it from everyone. Austin needs care, support, and probably more time off camera than on. And the women in his orbit deserved honesty. Apparently he's now sober, staying with his dad, leaning on his loved ones, including Raven, who he's referred to publicly as his girlfriend. Which, by the way, basically confirms what Bella was telling Gracyn at brunch. So that part of the story, receipts received. He's also talked about wanting to start a scholarship to help others access treatment, which is genuinely beautiful work if he follows through. Real quick, before we get to the absolute insanity of the Pepe confrontation, I have to acknowledge what happened with Amaya, because health is wealth, and this was genuinely scary. Amaya had to get emergency surgery, like Actual emergency in the hospital. This is real life surgery. She has Crohn's disease, which causes severe abdominal pain. And apparently it got to the point where she said she felt like she was going to pass away. That's not a dramatic reality TV phrase. That's a person describing a medical emergency. And here's the part that hits different. Amaya has been living on a plane, flight after flight, event after event, no time to rest, no time to actually process the post-Villa whirlwind. And get this, Kaylor from season 6 had specifically warned Amaya not to overwork herself. The lesson here is brutal but real. You can be the winner of the show, the girl everyone's rooting for, the it girl of your season, and your body will still hand you a bill if you don't take care of yourself. I'm genuinely glad she's recovering. Settle in, pour yourself something, adjust your pillows, because this section is the reason I started this video. Chris invites Pepe to Hannah's holiday party. Pepe, who skipped Palm Springs supposedly because of flight troubles out of Miami, but also, let's be honest, probably because he knew the energy would be hostile. He wants to squash things with Iris and TJ. He wants peace. He's done with the war. He pulls up, and Chris is genuinely shocked, low-key proud of him. But the rest of the room, the temperature drops the second he walks in. Jeremiah refuses to shake Pepe's hand, just straight up rejects the handshake, taking a page directly out of the TJ playbook from earlier in the season. And this is when I want to pause and bring up the public reaction, because the internet is genuinely confused about why Pepe is being treated like he committed a crime.
I'm almost certain that Pepe will be vindicated after watching Jeremiah and Iris's interview with Nick Vile. I'm going to play 2 clips from the interview so that you guys can see why I see things the way that I do.
With the situation that happened, I just felt disrespected, and I couldn't give grace because it was not appropriate for me to do that.
Did you ever feel like you got genuine acknowledgement and accountability from Pepe when you stood up for yourself?
No, I don't.
What was some of his excuses?
Well, he just didn't take accountability for what he did, and that was just upsetting for me because I know the truth. Maybe I don't share every receipt in the world because I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bash somebody, but I know the truth. And whether or not anyone believes that or believes him or believes me, it doesn't matter to me because I know what I've been through and I know what I know. And it's I don't need to prove myself.
So the first thing is she goes, Pepe didn't take accountability, but the obvious next question is take accountability for what? And then she goes, I don't feel like I need to share every receipt. I'm not that kind of person, but it's Miss Thing, you haven't shared any receipts. So let's continue. The next part is where she shares that she doesn't even know Pepe's side of the story.
What is Pepe's truth when it comes to his version of
he
what
lies.
Went down? Well, but I'm sure he has his story of.
Yeah, I don't know his story.
Uh-huh.
I just know that there was no accountability taken, and I would have appreciated accountability over. I mean, I feel like people will see what ends up happening, but it is what it is at the end of the day.
It seems is Pepe have a strong support fan base that is he, because I'm confused what it seems is he getting a lot of people defending him in general?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm honestly don't even pay attention to
Good
to
on
that.
you.
Yeah.
I would say Pepe's the villain of this season.
I would say that he's not on my algorithm.
So let me get this straight. We, the Love Island audience, are supposed to see Pepe as a villain, understand that he disrespected you, understand and believe what your boyfriend's saying about him taking advantage of vulnerable blonde girls, and take what your best friend said at face value that he terrorized you, but you don't feel like you need to provide any context on what happened. You don't feel like someone being characterized in this manner on international television warrants any kind of evidence or explanation when you yourself have said that you don't even know his side of the story, you don't know his truth, you only know the truth that you know and the truth that you believe. Iris, Hannah, Jeremiah, and TJ keep alluding to the fact that we're going to see Pepe's true colors by the end of the season and see more of what he did, but what it's looking like is that we're starting to see y'all true colors. And the lack of clarity and even the way that Iris just answered those questions I almost believe like if we got the truth or we got her side of the story, we would all be like, now girl, you did all that for this. And this is not about Love Island stan wars. This is not about being a fan of Pepe. This is about standing for what's right and standing on principle. You don't get to jeopardize someone's reputation and feel entitled like the public. You don't owe the public any explanations or that you don't have to provide any proof. Because Pepe as a Love Island villain is not adding up, but hey, we'll continue watching Beyond the Villain and see what happens in the rest of the season.
The big question circulating online, and I cannot stress this enough, is what did Pepe actually do that was so wrong? Because nobody seems to be able to articulate it in a way that justifies the level of cold shoulder he's receiving. Now, as for Jerry, after all the backlash that he's been getting over the past week, he went on live to give his take on why he's no longer cool with Pepe.
You're saying I'm bullying. Me, look at me. Me not shaking someone's hand is not bullying. Go look at the definition of bullying. And that's why I love my community to death, because we read. They tried to call me a love bomber. Go look at the definition. Like, come on, bro. Go look at the definition of bullying. Not shaking someone's hand is not bullying. Holy shit, it's a boundary. Thank you. It's a boundary. It's a boundary. It's a lose-lose. I don't shake his hand, I'm weird. I shake his hand, I'm fake to my friends. It's a lose-lose. Like, me and Bella are good. You can stop saying her name, please. Me and Bella are good. There was a little miscommunication on some things, not about the show. And yeah, me and Bella are good. Me and Pepe have not been friends for months before the show. Months. And there's no beef. I don't hate him. We're just not friends because I noticed he started lying to me and lying to my friends when they come into town. And so I know this live is probably gonna get me more hate. That's fine. That's fine. The littlest things, what he was doing, that he bought this car, bought that car, owned this business. And I think people forget that in the villa, he told me that he owned a gym. That wasn't true. He told me that, what else was, he owned an after school program. That wasn't true. So it's like, it's crazy I have to come on the internet and explain why I'm not friends with somebody. So yeah, I'm only gonna speak on me. And the reason I am not friends with Pepe is because he started lying to me and I do not value that. And I'm not gonna talk about what he's done to anybody else because this is about what happened between me and him. And the producers cut that. And it's like, you can say I'm lying now, but go look at my track record. I've never been called a liar, never been caught in a lie, right?
But before Pepe can even sit down with a drink, Bryan pulls him aside and says, listen, you have to bite the bullet. You have to initiate the conversation yourself. Bella, ever the peacekeeper, agrees and tells him the same thing. Have the conversation. Get it done. Stop avoiding it. TJ approaches Pepe first. Like a man, I'll give him that. He says, I just want to know why you're lying on my name. And the truth finally comes out. After weeks of teasing, after a whole season of innuendo, we finally find out what the actual issue is. Iris had revealed to TJ that Pepe sent her a message claiming Iris had performed certain acts on TJ in Koreatown. Direct, specific, with body parts named. The message supposedly framed it like TJ himself had told Pepe this had happened, which would mean TJ was bragging about hooking up with Iris while she was still with Pepe. So TJ pulls out his phone and shows Pepe the screenshot of the message right there in front of Iris. And Pepe immediately and without hesitation claims it wasn't him.
Says, that's not my message. I didn't send that.
TJ, being a man with a plan, asks Iris to pull up the original text directly on her phone to verify. And here is where the universe decided to introduce its most diabolical plot device. Iris's phone was dead, battery completely out. And TJ, in what I can only describe as the most desperate man on television moment of the year, starts asking the production crew, can we get a charger? Yo, can we get a charger for real? The desperation. The man needed evidence and the universe said, not today, buddy. And as if that wasn't enough, the receipts pile up further. Pepe also supposedly told Iris that Gracyn and TJ had hooked up. So now we've got Pepe spreading two separate narratives. One to TJ about Iris, one to Iris about TJ and Gracyn. And the energy of the conversation is suggesting that these stories may have been tools to keep Iris from going back to TJ. Whether that was the intention or not, that's the picture forming on screen.
It's the fact that bro, this did not go in the way that they thought it was gonna go. It's the fact that people, like, bro, Iris doesn't understand, based on how it was edited on the show, people are even more Team Pepe now. Because, girl, people are even more Team Pepe now because y'all are not making any sense. I just feel like they need to just come out and say what Pepe did. I mean, they can do whatever they want. If they don't want to come out and say it, so be it. But the show is not helping their case. Iris, is it because Pepe lied? Like, is it because Pepe told those 2 rumors to you? Like, I'm not understanding, girl. Because right now, it just looks like y'all are all just, like, bandwagoning off of Iris because Iris has the most clout from the show. Like, I don't understand, like, this Iris, like, the way that, this Iris got the juice because the way they're all rallying, I'm trying to figure out, what did Pepe do? Like, Iris, like, I'm genuinely asking, what did Pepe do? Like, I don't know, girl. I'm trying to see where you're coming from, but I can't.
Is this the thing that Iris was terrified of Pepe over? Because if that's the case, listen, go ahead and shut the whole thing down. Shut the whole thing down right now. I've never been here to defend Pepe, let's be clear about that. What's always been confusing to me is this energy that not just Iris, but the entire cast clearly has towards Pepe. You would think this man did the most egregious thing on earth, but it just looks like, to me, a miscommunication between both parties. Is Iris probably actually right in the situation? As far as her account of the events, yes. But once again, that does not constitute all this energy that everybody's having towards Pepe. They completely have isolated him out of the group because he went on a podcast and said there was a cheating scandal with Iris. And this is what we're talking about. This cast cares way too much about what the audience thinks of them, and they're not keeping it 100. And listen, I understand why they're moving the way they are. I understand the trauma that must come from this Love Island fan base, because let's be clear. However, this situation was completely blown out of proportion. I am team nobody in this situation.
Genuine question for the comments. If Pepe really did send those messages, what do you think his actual motive was? But here's what makes this whole thing even messier. Iris cuts off Pepe while he's trying to explain his side of the story, and Iris ends up walking away crying. This frustrated me because when we were about to finally hear his side of the story, Iris gets suddenly overwhelmed with emotions. I wonder why that is. It honestly looked like Pepe was looking through his phone for the receipts, and that in itself scared her a little. What do you guys think?
Iris, what are you crying about, girlie? It doesn't make any sense. You did have a cheating scandal. Pepe did not say that you cheated, but you did have a cheating scandal. People thought that you did cheat when you went and saw TJ. So he was correct about that. Also, I think both of you are a little bit right about the thing. Like, you did tell him technically that you gave him a ballpark of when you would see TJ in person. I think what Pepe is saying is, I would have expected that you would have been like, hey, yep, it landed on work. I'm going to see him Tuesday at 7 p.m. Not like I might see him Monday through Friday. Like, so then when TMZ came out with the photos, he wasn't aware that that night you went to see TJ. So he was not aware of the night that you went to see TJ because you gave him some weirdo ballpark instead of just saying, I'm going to see him this night. TJ, you're upset because he said that you were hooking up with some people, which honestly, I probably believe that you did. And the reason why you guys are upset is because you feel like him telling Iris that, and Iris feels like him telling her that stopped her from leaving Pepe early enough to go hang out with you. Which is like, why are you upset with Pepe about that? Why is that Pepe's problem? He thought Iris was actually into him. He's just like, yeah, I mean, it seems like TJ's okay. And he's like having fun. And Iris is pissed off about that because she still liked TJ and she didn't want to be with Pepe, but she was still entertaining Pepe. So really, Pepe didn't really do anything wrong, but I'm just gonna need you guys to get over this Pepe crap. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Says the apology Pepe eventually offered didn't feel genuine. And Pepe basically leaves the party. TJ even mentions that he thought he and Pepe were close in the villa. And now this. And the trio, Iris, TJ, and even Hannah, you can tell they're all sitting in the residual damage from the backlash they received online after Pepe's podcast appearance. TJ in particular feels like Pepe painted him as overly promiscuous in the press, even though TJ and Iris are happy together now. So the question hanging over this whole thing is, you guys are happy, you're together, you won, why can't we move past this? The answer, of course, is that You can't move past something when the person who supposedly caused the damage hasn't truly acknowledged what they did. And the Mean Girls narrative doesn't seem like it's going to die down anytime soon. We see footage of the upcoming Lake Tahoe trip, and Bella is going to overhear Hannah and Iris in the hot tub saying that not everyone is your best friend. Now, I don't have full context yet because we have to wait for the next drop, but the optics of being overheard in a hot tub gossiping about who is and isn't a best friend? What's your prediction for Lake Tahoe? Drop it below, because I have a feeling things are about to escalate in a way that makes the holiday party look like a peaceful brunch. Here's where the tea gets really good, because the audience reaction to all of this has been a full-on inversion of what the show seems to want us to feel. Multiple TikTok creators with large followings have posted breakdowns about how Bella is being excluded specifically because she doesn't have the same level of online popularity. The Trinity now has to compete with the narrative that they're not protecting their friend group, they're curating it. Then there's Pepe, the single most polarizing figure of this entire season. Because while the show is clearly setting him up as the villain who lied to multiple parties and broke up a relationship, the internet is going, hold on, wait. What did he actually do that's so unforgivable? Even multiple outlets covering this drama have noted that Pepe has continued to deny the allegations, and that the public is genuinely split on whether the punishment fits the crime. There are entire fan camps right now defending Pepe and questioning whether the Trinity is using him as a convenient scapegoat to avoid harder conversations within their own group. And let me be clear about something. I'm not telling you who's right. I genuinely don't know. The phone died, the screenshots haven't been independently verified, people are operating on secondhand information and group consensus, which is exactly how reputations get destroyed. And that's the lesson hiding underneath all this gossip. The court of public opinion is not actually a court. It's a vibes-based judgment system, and it's volatile. Hannah went on Cosmopolitan and explained that she sees herself as the bodyguard of her friend group, and that's why she confronted Pepe at the first outing. And listen, I respect ride or die energy, I do. But there's a fine line between protecting your friends and steamrolling someone who hasn't been given a fair chance to defend themselves on equal footing. Final verdict in the comments. Are you Team Trinity, Team Pepe, or are you like me, sitting here genuinely confused and just along for the ride? Because the way this season is heading, the finale is either going to deliver the most satisfying conclusion in spin-off history or the messiest. So where does that leave us? We've got a man who proudly identifies as a hoe and somehow still has tears available for a coffee date breakup. We've got a phone that died at the worst possible moment and may have changed the entire trajectory of someone's narrative arc. We've got a Mean Girls situation that the internet is dragging harder than anything else this season. We've got a sweet woman recovering from emergency surgery while her castmates are out here playing chess with each other's reputations. And we have one more episode to go before this whole season detonates at Lake Tahoe. If you made it this far, you are officially a tea lover, and I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now so you don't miss the next breakdown when these episodes drop. Because trust me, what I'm seeing in the previews is going to require an emergency video. Drop your craziest theory in the comments. Who do you think is the actual villain of this season? Because I've gone back and forth 4 times, and I'm still not settled. Until next time, this has been your messy little tea hour. We've spilled the tea, one drop at a time. See you in the next one.